across the ages. This is where we gather to journey through time, before the ships came, during the age of empires, and into the world we live in today. From powerful kingdoms and rich cultures, to the struggles of colonization and the strength of rising again, we explore the stories that shaped our planet. So pull up a seat, because history is calling, and every age has a voice. Welcome back, Elias.
Thank you.
Yeah. Last time we met, we had a very interesting session. We went through the Murumbi Gallery, and we got to see quite a bit of African art, because I can't really say it was Kenyan art, it was African art, because we went across, we went through different countries. We went to there was the Yoruba, there was Benin, there was Congo, those were some of the artifacts we saw in there, right?
Yes.
Fantastic. So today we are taking a tour of the National Museum, and I think this is going to be an interesting one. Personally, I think this is my first time. I've been to the Snake Park, I've been to the other areas, but I've never really been into the main museum. So yeah, can we do this?
Yes, you can do this.
Fantastic. All right, so over to you. So where do we begin? So tell us about the National Museum.
Welcome to the National Museums of Kenya here. And here I'm going to take you through the history of Kenya. Yeah, so the history of Kenya is covered in three phases. You have the pre-colonial period, the colonial period, and the independent Kenya. Now the Kenyans were really affected, their lifestyles were affected by the historical events which happened, like the building of the railway line from Mombasa to Uganda, land alienation, and the world wars really shaped the Kenyans' lives. Yeah.
In what way did it shape their lives?
For example, land alienation. When land was alienated, which means borders were created by the British government, so people were restricted from moving from one place to another. Like you must have the kipande for to move from one place to another. Then also to control labor. People could not just move from one place to another. Movement was controlled. And if you go to now the building of the railway line from Mombasa to Nairobi to Uganda, it changed the lives of the people, the Kenyans. Now, the Europeans could easily come and colonize Kenya after this railway line was built. Easy movement of the goods from the interior to the coast. Now the British could easily move to conquer this region. Yeah.
Wow, that is interesting. Where do we begin? In the National Museum, where do we begin? So you've told us a bit about the museum. So where do we start? I think it's divided into a couple of sections. I think when I did my research, there's the history room.
Yes.
There's the evolution room.
Yeah.
There's the mammals room.
Yes.
There's the currency room.
Yeah.
There's the birds room.
Yes.
And there's the Hall of Kenya.
Exactly.
Did I miss anything?
You are right.
Fantastic. So I think for today, I think the closest to us, we begin in the history room.
Exactly.
Fantastic. So tell us about the history room.
Let me tackle the pre-colonial period, how we used to live here in Kenya. So if you look at the old man there playing Elias, there was use of the traditional musical instruments like the lyre, drums. There were experts who could play this.
You said the lyre.
Lyre, yes.
It looks like nyatiti.
Exactly.
Nyatiti from the Luo community.
Luo community, yeah.
So is that the nyatiti?
That's the nyatiti.
It's also called a lyre.
It's a lyre in English.
Spell that.
Lyre.
Lyre. Lyre.
Lyre.
What?
Exactly.
And Nyatiti is called a liar.
Liar
Wow.
in English.
I'm today years old. Fantastic. Tell me more.
So that is a married woman.
Mm-hmm.
So the married women had to cover themselves as a show of respect for the husbands, putting a lot of adornments, earrings, yeah. And when they are freshly married, they had to shave their hair to show beginning of a new life.
Oh, that's what it means.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. But most of the time, people had short shaven hair. So if you're saying that it signified marriage, so what about the rest?
Among the women.
Amongst the women.
Yeah. In most communities, it was a requirement. Once you are married and you're beginning a new life, starting afresh, even your hair needs to start afresh.
Ah.
Yeah.
And it says, I think it says this is an Elgeyo woman.
Elgeyo woman, yeah.
Wow. Elgeyo, is that a tribe?
Elgeyo
or is Elgeyo a place?
Elgeyo Marakwet is a county. The Elgeyo is a sub-tribe among the Kalenjin community. Then there are the young girls. So the young girls who are not married had to show their beauty by keeping the chest was left bare to show beauty. Yeah.
That was interesting. The chest was left bare to show beauty.
Yes.
Wow. Interesting. Okay. What else? What else do we have here?
That was a mode of transport. Before there was use of animals like horses, camels in movement of goods from one place to another. Mostly the camels and horses were used by the pastoralist communities. The Somali, the Gabra. And the picture there shows the role of women.
These are the Kamba women and children.
Kamba women and children there. And you can see they are thin. So the women had to...
What do you mean by they are thin?
Thinness. Like, I mean, they look like malnutrited. Malnutrition there, yeah. So the women had to give birth to very many children. Very many of them. So having many children was a symbol of wealth traditionally. So the role of women was to give birth to children, fetch firewood, stay at home, build and repair houses.
Start again. The role of the women was to
give birth to many children.
To many children.
Yeah.
The key word is many.
Many children. Children was seen as a symbol of wealth. The more you have, the more.
So there was no, in terms of, there was nothing like let's plan financially or let's plan anything. It was just if you have 10 children, we are rich, but without having actual monetary something monetary to show for it. As long as you have many children, automatically in society you're rich.
You are rich. You are respected.
That's interesting.
Highly respected. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. We have an interesting thing here. What would I call it? What is this?
That's the map of Africa.
Yeah.
So the map shows.
Why does it have lights beaming, and what are the lights?
The lights shows the directions, the routes followed by different tribes when they entered Kenya. Yeah. So the green light there shows the migration of the Kushites.
Yeah.
Through the Horn of Africa, to now living in northeastern eastern Kenya, keeping animals, camels, goats.
The red says Bantu.
The reds are the Bantus, yeah. So they arrived in Kenya here from Congo Basin, some through around Lake Victoria to the west, some to the coast to the south. Now they're now living in the Central Island region. Some of them living in the Kenyan coast and Western Kenya. Yeah.
Okay. Quite interesting. Yeah, but are the bulbs all working though? Surely.
The bulbs are all working.
They are?
There's the blue, the green,
and the red.
The red, yeah.
Okay.
So before all these tribes came to Kenya, Kenya was inhabited by the Ogboni and the Ogiek, the two tribes.
Hold on. Before all tribes came to Kenya?
Kenya, yes.
It was inhabited by?
The Boni and the Ogiek.
Boni and Ogiek.
Ogiek, yeah.
So what you're saying is that none of us are indigenous to this region called Kenya.
Yeah, exactly.
Or should I say Kirinyaga?
Kenya.
Kenya.
Yeah.
Not Kenya.
Yeah. So this was a home for the Ogiek. They were doing the hunting and gathering in Narok. They still stay there up to date. They still believe that forest is their home. Living in the forest, the men go for hunting, fetching, getting the fruits, harvesting the fruits. Yeah. Then the women staying at home, building houses, taking care of the children. And the Boni live in Lamu County currently. Yeah.
But I think they also intentionally chose not to assimilate with the modern culture and everything, right?
Exactly.
And they chose to stay in their environment with their culture and their traditions and everything.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
So in your opinion, do you think that is a better lifestyle than the current life we live in terms of our way of life as a modern people, vis-a-vis the Ogiek and the Boni, who basically are, for lack of a better word, one with nature and the universe, in all manner of ways that you can think of?
Yeah, there are two perspectives here. So if you can decide to choose to adapt to the new technological changes, if a phone comes, you have to get on that new phone. If people are building houses from iron sheets, you also cope like everyone else is building out. You also need a house with an iron sheet, a decent house. There's some tribes. Most of the tribes have changed from the traditional ways of living. Now the modern world, society. And another perspective, it is also not bad for if a community decides to retain their culture. Yeah, since this is very critical for preserving the history of their way of life. Yeah, living in the forest, hunting, looking for the honey, going to the beehives, searching for the honey. Yeah, so it's okay.
Wow. And we are still in the beginning.
Yeah.
This is going to be an interesting journey, and I wish more Kenyans, more Africans would take time to to go and at least look into their cultures, look into their history. It's not really expensive actually to enter the museum, just to understand your history, your culture, and other people's cultures and history too, because it is housed there. And it's there for everyone, every Tom, Dick, and Harry to come and see. You know. So yeah, I think more people should. To all the listeners, viewers, you should go check it out.
Yes.
It's quite an interesting experience, and of course, just in case you need a guide, Elias is there, always there to help you. You can find his contacts in the description. But Elias, let's continue. What do we have here?
Those are pots from various communities. Each community had their own design of pots. Some of them made from metal, like brass, like the communities living in the desert. They were imported pots. While tribes like the Nilotes, the Bantus, they used to make their pots using clay. Yeah. Okay.
And this looks like a depiction of Mount Kenya.
That's Mount Kenya, exactly.
Wow. Hey, this is an interesting depiction. It's actually quite elaborate.
Quite elaborate. Nice.
Yeah, it's an interesting design.
Captured there.
Yeah.
So this is found in the central region of Kenya. Yeah. So the communities living around there are called the Agikuyu. Yeah. So this mountain was a holy mountain, like a shrine. Yeah. So they believe that God lived on this mountain. Ngai, yes. They call the god Ngai in the local dialect. Yeah. So they call this mountain Mount Kinyaga. Kinyaga.
Mount Kinyaga.
Kinyaga, yeah.
And I think the mayor used to say Mount Kinya.
Kinya. So in short, Kinya.
Kinya. So hence the Kinya.
It's a holy mountain where God resides. Ngai resides. Yeah, so when the British came to colonize Kenya, and they found the mountain there called Mount Kinyaga. So they could not pronounce the word Kinyaga. So they shortened the word Kinyaga to Kenya.
Imagine.
And they named the whole land Kenya. So Kenya, the word Kenya, the name of the country Kenya is from this mountain, Mount Kenya.
So
Mount
basically
Kinyaga.
we are still not free, because even by naming, I think maybe we should rename Kenya so that we can get out of this whole chokehold of colonialism and the West having control, because it starts even with the name. The name was distorted. It's not our original name of territorial name, because we can't even talk about a country because countries did not exist, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, these are imaginary lines that came with the missionaries,
Yeah.
Columbus and them. So, yeah, okay, interesting. So, Mount Kinyaga.
Mount Kinyaga.
Kinyaga.
So the highest peak of the mountain is called Batian.
Batian Peak.
5,199 meters tall, above the sea level.
Wow.
Yeah. So the peaks were named after the prominent Maasai chiefs. Batian, Nelion, and Lenana.
Those are the Maasai chiefs.
Maasai chiefs.
Okay, what does the mountain though? What relationship does the mountain have with the Maasai? Because why were they named after the Maasai chiefs? Yet you have the Agikuyu, you have the Ameru, the other side, and why?
Yeah, so the Maasais are pastoralists. Yeah, so they used to also come to do grazing around this mountain. Like Nairobi here and Mount Kenya is not very far away. Yeah, so the reason why the mountain was named after the prominent Maasai chiefs was because to remember these chiefs, not to forget about them. They need to honor these chiefs. Like the chief is the highest authority in the society. So if something of high stature like a mountain peak is named after the chief, that's an honor to the chief.
Even if the chief can't access the mountain.
Yeah, that's honor.
Wow. I tell you, there's a time when there was a thing going on which is called fencing the Abaderes, right?
Yeah.
And now there are people who have been living there and have been one and integrated even with the animals, who now their normal way of life is affected because I guess, conservation had to happen, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so what do we have here?
That is
Kisumu Market.
Kisumu
Market, it says.
Yeah, Kisumu Market. Initially called it Kisuma. That's why I call it Kisuma. Sumo means butter trade. So that was a place of butter. Doing butter
So
trade.
Kisumo, meaning the place of trade.
Trade.
Because of the lake, I guess.
Sumo, butter trade. It's a Luo word. Yeah. Sumo means trade. Like you've gone to somebody's homestead or items, then you go and you are given. You've gone for exchange of goods. Yeah. So that was the life before Kenya was colonized. That was the picture taken at Kisumu Market.
Wow.
The attire and the items of trade shown there. Yeah.
That's interesting. And then you have what are these?
Those are trade items found in Kisumu Market by that time.
Pumpkin, cassava,
Bananas,
sweet potato, bananas.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Exactly.
Those are their tools.
Yeah, trade items. There was iron smelting, smelting of ores. Yeah.
Those are the tools for cultivation or what?
Tools for agriculture.
For agriculture.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because they did mixed farming. Yeah.
Okay. So, what do we have here?
That's a model of an elder, courier elder.
A courier elder.
Yeah. Carrying a fly whisk and wearing a cloak. Cloak are made from animal skins, like leopard. Yeah. So the clock were worn by only the elders.
Only the
Very
elders.
prominent people in the society. Symbol of leadership, the clock, the flyways, the symbol of leadership in the community. Only the elders could wear that.
And what is that cloak made of? It looks like. That looks like. Is it monkey fur?
Monkey fur.
Is it?
Yeah.
Colobus.
The white and black colobus monkey. The skin is peeled off, then used for making.
He's wearing the skin of the colobus monkey.
Monkey, yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, symbol of leadership. Only leaders could have that.
Wow.
So
that's
that
quite a bit. That's a lot of skin. How many? I would beg to ask how many colobus monkeys had to die for that guy to look like that.
Skins from animals, yeah. So this model here shows the roles of the elders in society. Solving land disputes, cases. They will solve all the cases in the society. Yeah, that was the role of the elders.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Then we move on. We have some interesting.
Yeah, that is
portrait here or pictures.
Yeah, this pot here was used by the courier rainmakers. The rainmakers before.
The courier rainmakers.
Yeah. In case there was drought for a long period of time, so these rainmakers used to put this pot on their head, facing the sun. And
What?
And they believe if they pray, it would rain.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rainmakers.
Oh, hence I see the lady
Yeah.
carrying the pot there.
Yeah, a rainmaker.
So she's a rainmaker.
She's a rainmaker.
Wow. And was it true that it would actually rain?
It was true. It would rain.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Do you know what process how they would achieve that? How they would get the rain to?
These were like magicians. So they're the only people who understand. So the local people could only see them going to do the ritual in the mountains, putting the pot, then it would rain. It was not for everybody to know the process. Medicine men who was for specific tribe or community, or the people responsible for that. The role of women is still there, fetching firewood, carrying water, taking care of children.
Wow.
And the African attire, there are no clothes.
Wow, you see, you just said the African attire, there were no clothes.
No, yeah, just covering the front part. That's a Luo girl, young girl.
A Luo young girl.
Young girl, yeah.
That one.
Yeah, you can see the chest, it left bare to show beauty, the adornments. Yeah. So that was a skirt, covering the front part and the back.
Wow.
So
that was a skirt.
Yeah, skirt.
Wow. Then I guess courtship, they would call it indecent proposal. Or what would they call it? Because chest bare, that is the skirt. Fantastic. But that would that mean that back in the day, moral standards were very high?
Very, very high.
Because right now, I don't think you can walk like that out there and you don't get a few whistles or a few,
Yeah, nowadays things are different. So there was nothing like much of courtship before. So it is the role of the parents to go and look for the
husband or
a wife. Then you are forced. Ladies were forced to marry the husband. However old they were.
But if you know nothing else as a culture, would you call it forced, or it's just normal life? Because if there's nothing else today, if you're eating a meal and you have never tasted meat, you will not say you are denied. You just don't know it, right?
Yeah.
So by the time an external party comes and tells you, no, your culture is wrong, this is what you should be doing, then how does that work, Elias?
Human beings should have the agency to choose what is right for you and what is wrong for you. So this traditional way of marriage was just, I can say it is forced. It is forced. It was normal.
It was normal. They were not being forced because they expected it. It was expected that at a particular age, I am going to be married off. On the other side, the men, the boys or whatever, they also know that at this age, I am going to be partnered with a woman of a particular, right?
Yeah.
So it was their way of life. There was no one being forced. It was a way of life. You understand?
Yeah.
It's like people. It's like for example, there was spiritual practices, right?
Yeah.
And when religion came with the missionaries, or rather Christianity came with the missionaries, now what happened there? Because you can't say guys were forced into their traditions and cultural practices and their spiritual beliefs. An external belief was introduced and also forced upon them using their leaders, quote unquote kings at that time. They were indoctrinated first, and because they accepted, by assimilation, the people just accepted and followed, right?
Yeah.
And that's how culture became eroded over time. So I don't think that at that time the ladies standing bare-chested and whatever in terms of morals, they were not being forced to get married at that time because they didn't know better. It was a way of life. They didn't know anything different.
Yeah, when I say forced, I mean the contemporary world. Nowadays, people have a choice of choosing somebody to marry, unlike before. But before it was normal. That way of marriage, only the parents and the people consulting each other.
Because it wasn't only happening in Africa, remember. This was happening across the world. You have the Vikings, you have even the monarchies, people were being married off at young age. If fingers were to be pointed, I don't think Africa should be the first place to be pointed at fingers, because everyone was doing the same thing. But the world chose to highlight Africa's culture, and if you marry 4 women or if you do whatever, then you're branded this and that. It doesn't even make sense though.
Yeah, so this practice was common to many communities around the world. But today it's a bit different. Maybe we can now look into the Turkana warrior here. He has scarification on his right arm.
Yeah.
So there was scarification on the arm. So that one was to show the number of men he has killed in the battle. One scar will be made. Next one like that. For the warriors.
And then
that's an courier elder. Now the photo now.
Wow. Okay.
Then the next one there still shows scarification of women for beauty.
Okay.
Iron smelting and economic activity done during before independence. Making horse, machetes.
Okay.
Those are symbols of leadership. Only the chiefs could have them. That's the stake, flyweights, and some chiefs have the snuff bottle. Symbols of leadership, flyweights still there.
And today everyone has those sticks.
Yeah,
even boys to
even
men.
People were not leaders. Have sticks.
Even boys to men, they're still walking with these sticks, man.
These sticks, yeah. Traditionally, only the elders. Specific sticks, flowers were for the elders, the chiefs would have them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Hey, I tell you, people should know that those things are for chiefs and for elders.
Yeah, not
just to be used to walk around, to go to the shop.
Yeah. So the photos there shows the various chiefs. Wayaki, Wahinga, the one from the Luo community, Worke, yeah, also pictured there. And they're symbols of leadership. Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. Nice. What do we have here?
That's now after the coming of the British now to Kenya. Yeah. So there was when Kenya was colonized, the British government used to give exchequer to this country. Yeah. They never had the money to run the affairs of this country. So it became a burden to the government of UK. So they decided to send settlers here to come and do piloting of new breeds of sheep, do plantation.
So they could not take care of their citizens.
Yeah.
So they sent others here to come and settle.
They sent people who are business people in their country to come and start a business here in Kenya.
Wow.
So that the country can be independent.
Wow.
Not depend on UK for financing. So
and this is Unga Limited.
Yeah. So they come.
It was the first flour mill
to be established
in
here.
British East Africa.
Yeah.
In 1909.
Yes.
Wow. Elias, we're in 2025.
Yeah.
Unga Limited is still there.
Still there, up to date.
Oh.
It's over a century old now.
Macmillan. Karen Blixen, which was formerly owned by Macmillan.
Yeah. So Macmillan gave it to Karen Blixen to do plantation. So the reason why Macmillan gave the land to Karen Blixen, thought that the land was infertile. That place was infertile. So he tricked her. Did not take that land and move somewhere else. But the land was later realized to be very of importance now. Now there's the Karen Blixen established there, named after her.
And Karen was named after her.
Yeah.
The area.
Yeah.
Wow. Who fooled who?
Yeah. So those are the white settlers. Macmillan.
On the top left, who do we have?
Macmillan. Brogan. Lord Egerton.
This is Lord Egerton.
Yeah. Then no, this one is Lord Egerton.
The young guy.
The young guy, yeah. Delamere.
Delamere.
Yeah, we have Delamere too.
Very
famous in Kenya.
This is the father of Chomonli.
Chomonli,
the guy who was charged with killing somebody in their property. You remember?
Yes, I remember that.
With the rally driver.
Exactly, their son. So the companies are still there. Egerton University named after Lord Egerton. The Delamere factories are still here. Yeah.
So this is truly a British protectorate.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they came and occupied fertile lands to do agriculture.
Wow. Okay.
So they are the African chiefs. They are thumbprints.
Wow. These are all the guys who sold
their lands to the British government. So
wow.
So
this is the reason why the Maasai are pastoralists and do not have a permanent home.
Yeah,
because they signed off all their property and land.
Probably. They were unable to read and write, the Maasai chiefs, so they were tricked that...
So this is basically text that was written for them. And then they put their thumbprints. Oh my God.
They were told that if they put their thumbprints there, they'll be protected from the slave trade, which was ongoing by the British people.
Wow.
However, that
and it all states mark of Ole.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that never happened. The lands were taken away.
Yeah, but you see, this is proof of sale or of giving.
For us now, but by
because
then,
as long as you put your mark and their names are there, you know.
Yeah.
That's a sad story.
Very sad, being tricked.
Imagine.
That's how it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is crazy. This is really crazy. Okay. I guess.
Yeah, the European control and local reaction. So like when Kenya was colonized, some tribes chiefs decided to resist, some collaborated. For example, among the Maasai, there are two brothers, Lenana and Olesenteu. Olesenteu was the chief. Yeah. So because I was older than Lenana, so because Lenana wanted to take power from his elder brother Olesenteu, he decided to go and collaborate with the British people. Yeah, that's why it's not known to be a collaborator. When Olesenteu learned of these plans of his younger brother, he fled away to Tanzania with this group. That's why they live in Tanzania.
That's why we have the Tanzanian Maasai.
Maasais, yeah.
Wow. So they're not indigenous to Tanzania.
Not indigenous to Tanzania.
This was because of some issue that was unresolved.
Somebody want to collaborate to overthrow you.
Wow.
You move away to another land.
Interesting.
Then there we have the people who came to colonize Kenya. Now Kenya is under the British rule. That hat there, made of metal, was to protect the British head from the sunburn, hot sun.
Not even from harm.
Yeah, not from the hot sun. This place was very hot.
This is crazy.
Yeah, it kept to protect the head.
Not from spears, not from nothing,
Yes, yeah,
from the sun.
Yeah.
Why metal? And metal absorbs heat.
That was the material used by then.
What? They should have even asked one of the traditional guys for a headdress. Those headdresses.
I don't think if they could wear those headdresses.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think, because African culture was undermined when they came. Like everything was just of low status. Yeah.
Wow. This is I tell you, it's called history though.
History of Kenya.
Yeah. So here we have Priska Abwao.
Yeah.
John Michuki. Wow, he was young though.
He was young. Yeah.
This is if you rattle a snake.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And you had Daudi Wabera.
Yeah.
Some of the first Africans to hold administrative posts in the colonial government.
Michuki. Old man.
Lancaster House Constitutional Conference.
Yeah. So those are the people who led Kenya.
So is this to say these were collaborators?
They're not to say collaborators, because they used to fight for Kenya's freedom.
Kenyatta also did.
Through they were ideological.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quote in quote, Kenyatta also fought for Kenya's freedom and independence. Yeah. But 2025, we are still feeling the pinch of his decisions.
The effects.
The effects of his decisions.
Yeah,
wow.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. This is interesting. Here we have discharge certificate.
Yeah. So those are given to soldiers.
East African forces.
Yes.
This is after serving.
After the First World War. Yeah.
Okay.
As a reward, like you've done a good work, you're a soldier, diligently.
Arab Kogo.
Yeah.
This was issued to Arab
Kogo, the soldier.
Wow. In 1942.
Yeah. Some of them during the Second World War and after.
And he served from April 24th, 1941 to October 4th, 1942.
Exactly.
Wow.
His certificate.
For something he absolutely had no idea about.
No idea. In fact, there were food carriers carrying weapons to the British people. Yeah.
There you go, KDF.
KAR. King's African Rifles.
Rifles,
yeah.
My God, without shirts.
Without shirts.
Barefoot.
barefoot, running
at top
fight
speed.
Axis powers like the Italy and the Germans.
But the people they are fighting also have shoes.
They have shoes. They had shoes.
They had shoes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So during the First World War, around 195,000 Kenyans were recruited to go and fight for the British people, being the food carriers. Yeah, so around 50,000 of them died due to harsh conditions there, poor health. They used to live. The life they used to face there was very indecent life.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why 50,000 of them died.
150,000?
No, 50,000.
50,000?
Yeah, about 50,000 out of the 195,000 died.
Kenyans
who were recruited to go and fight for the British people.
So, I have a question.
Yes.
Out of the 50,000 who died,
yeah,
did the families get to bury these 50,000 people? Because were they returned home? Were their bodies repatriated and given respectful burial? Or what happened? Because along Ngong Road, near Jamhuri Park, you have war graves, Kenya, right?
Yeah.
Where the British are buried fantastically. It's white. I think they paint it every 6 months or every year.
Yeah.
So, where are the Kenyans who fought in World War I and World War II? Were they just discarded? Were their bodies just discarded and left wherever they were? Or were they repatriated? Because I think this is something that people need to discuss in terms of, I'm sure the British government has a list of the people who were enlisted, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So if you have a list of the people who were enlisted, or the people you enlisted, then that means you have a record of where they went and what happened. So, why? The question is why, again, why?
I want to begin by telling you that I had a great-grandmother who told me that the father went to the war and he never returned back. Up to date, he has never returned back. So they used to go there, they fight, if you die, you get buried there. You are not taken back to your country. You are not seen. You may not be seen again, and most of them were not seen again.
Now, imagine that from a cultural, spiritual perspective. You're buried in a land, in a place that is not familiar with you, has nothing, and you're just there in limbo.
You're alone.
Zero connection to your ancestry, zero connection to anything. You're just there. You know, and this, you know.
That's how we had it were.
I don't understand how it's acceptable and how it's just okay to just move on without any consequence, you know?
Yeah, it is,
doesn't make sense.
Sad.
Yeah, so here we have
the Lancaster Conference.
You have Gishuru, you have Mboya, you have Kenyatta,
Oginga Odinga Jaramogi himself.
Yes. You know?
That is in Lancaster House.
Lancaster House.
Yeah. 1962. So they were drafting the Kenya's constitution.
This is the Constitutional Conference.
Yeah, this is towards independence now. Yeah.
So this is where everything was drawn.
Drawn, yeah. The old constitution. Yeah.
Yeah. Here we have a Sunday Post.
Post, yeah.
I guess this was basically news
about our progress in talks about the independence talks.
Yep. 17th February 1963.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess this was leading towards independence?
Kenya was ripe for independence.
Ripe.
Yeah.
Talks make good progress.
Talks in UK.
Yeah, deals had been made.
Yeah, then there we have the trade union leader. There are no political parties. Yeah.
So that's why Mboya was so powerful, eh?
Yeah, Mboya was very...
He was the leader of the trade union.
Trade union, yeah. Together with the Indians. Yeah. So they used to fight for the rights of the workers. Remember, Africans were given...
So he was the Atwoli.
He was the Atwoli by then. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so Africans were given low-level jobs. Clerks, policemen. And they are given very low pay.
How is being a policeman a low-level job? You know, that's very weird, because to my thinking, policemen should be well paid, because just by the nature of your job, you should be well compensated, so that you don't get you don't get what do you call it? You don't get itchy, like sticky fingers.
The policemen during that time were paid a very low amount of salaries because they were not aware of their rights. So it was the first time
they're still not aware of their rights.
The first time
they're still not aware of their rights. But
I mean, the police commander, they were not in that level, lowest level, lowest salary. Yeah, so boy used to fight for their rights.
There was Fred Kubai.
Yeah, Fred Kubai.
Francis Lubembe.
Yeah.
Arthur Ochwada.
Yeah. Makan Singh, yeah, from India.
Yeah. These were the prominent leaders of the trade union.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Working for the Africans. Right.
Then we have the man himself.
Yeah.
There we have Sunday Nation. This is from 1962, April.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jomo exhausted. So we came from February, now we're in April.
Yeah.
So things were looking good, things went south. He's exhausted now. Yeah.
During that time, he was still, he was out of the prison, and they needed freedom. Like they really needed to be free. Kenya to be free by this time. That was the topic of discussion by then. Yeah.
Wow. This is interesting. We can see up there Odinga saying there's a witch hunt.
Witch hunt, yeah.
Let me not even talk about that, because wow, is opinions like this inherited? Can you inherit an opinion?
Opinion.
Because there's a witch hunt.
Witch hunt.
This has continued for years, but yeah, okay. Cool. So yeah, then we have
Harituku massacre. That was in the
Harituku massacre.
Massacre, yeah.
Okay. What happened?
One of the people who fought for the freedom of Africans. Yeah, in the 1920s. Yeah. So this event happened at the Central Police Station. That's in front there. The road is called Harituku Road.
Okay.
Because of this event.
That's why it's called Harituku Road.
Yeah.
Because there was a massacre.
A massacre. So a woman by the name Nyanjiru. They had 8,000 men to go and protest for the release of Harituku. Was arrested.
Protest for the release of
Harituku. Upon his arrest. So when they reached there, it became violent. And the British government by that time opened fire on them. Around 25 people lost their lives on this day.
What?
It was a very sad day, dark moment for this country, for Kenya.
Wow. History. Yeah, it's Tanga workers' strike.
Yeah, workers' strike due to the low pay.
Workers fired upon solidarity mass meeting.
Yeah, harsh conditions. Yeah.
This was Sunday, 13th August, 1939.
39, yeah. Poor pay.
At 10 a.m. in the Desai Memorial Hall. Wow. Hey, man, human beings have been struggling for a minute. Just fighting for just equal rights, liberation. Hey, wow.
For the environment.
There we go. The proverbial handshake.
Yeah.
Yeah. The new Prime Minister of Jomo Kenyatta, shaking hands with the governor. This was the governor of Kenya.
Of Kenya, yeah, by then.
After receiving the constitutional instruments of power from the Queen's representative, Duke of Edinburgh, at Uhuru Stadium. Wow.
Yeah.
So Uhuru Stadium was which one? Nyayo Stadium? Or
Uhuru Gardens.
Oh, it was a stadium.
By that time, the name changes. That was at the Uhuru Gardens. I mean.
But at this point, it was called Uhuru Stadium.
Stadium.
Was it? I'm assuming it was a stadium then.
Stadium. By that time.
Wow.
They called stadium. Uhuru Gardens currently.
Yeah, so, and you can see the sidekicks clapping there.
Yeah, handing over power.
Okay, that is still. This is Freedom fighters laid down their arms after the attainment of independence. Wow.
Fighting ends.
This is a souvenir issue.
Independence Day.
Independence Day, Sunday Post.
Yeah, the Kenyan flag.
Wow.
Black for black people, black skin.
Imagine Elias, people actually thought they were independent. Can you imagine what has come? 1963. You're told you're independent, just to fast forward and realize that you're still, the boot of the colonialist is still on your neck.
Still they are there with you.
Wow.
Yeah. White for peace.
Interesting. Then they're raising the flag. Kenya takes her place in the world.
Yeah, that was still there about the independence.
Wow, East African standard.
Kenya now attained independence. The flag is raised up.
Yeah, that's the Duke.
Yeah, now
pretending to live.
Living, yeah, to UK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
The governor is now leaving. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
What? That is crazy. Yeah, so now we move on. We get to a railway line.
Yeah, that's the construction.
Wow, they actually put an actual railway line in the museum.
Yeah. It was an actual railway line.
Interesting. With a railway crossing.
Built in 1896 to 1901, from Coast to Kisumu. So during this time, Africans were reluctant about building the railway line. So like the Nandi went ahead and steamed the irons for making this rail.
Because they were cutting. That is the snake that was it Koitalel?
Koitalel Arab Samoei.
Who said there's a snake that will cross through.
Long snake.
Man.
Cross through their land, his land. Resist it. Possible, yeah. So because they were reluctant about building this railway line, they never knew information about the railway line, any road or the rail. So the British government sought the help of someone called Alibai Mula Jivanji.
No way. So this is how Jivanji ended up in Kenya.
Yeah, Jivanji.
And ended up with a whole park in the city.
Yeah, now Jivanji Gardens.
Go on.
He was a philanthropist. So he came to Kenya here to do entrepreneurship. Yeah. While he was in Pakistan, he had far off lands which were fertile, which he could do business. So that one drove him to come to Kenya, Mombasa, to do business. We opened the small businesses there. He worked, collaborated with the British, but did not like how the British were treating the Indians and the Africans. Yeah. So the British government sought his help to go and get them some workers who would come and build the railway line. So Jivanji saw that one as an opportunity of doing this business. So he went and imported 38,000 Indians.
And after that importation, we have never known peace. We just know discount.
Yeah, so to come and build, this railway line. Yeah. So during the construction, around 2,000 people lost their lives due to the man-eaters of Savo, also the harsh conditions. Yeah.
Actually, quite a number of people lost their lives to the man-eaters of Savo.
Of Savo, yeah.
Yeah, the coolies, right?
Yeah. So after that, after the finishing of building this railway line, so some Indians remained here in Kenya, opened trading centers, bukawalas, and a few of them went back to India. Yeah.
Wow. That train 327, why 327? Is that a particular mark? Does it mean something? Does 327 mean something?
It's called a number plate for a plane, a train by then.
Or they had numbers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. Two hills, valleys, plains.
Okay. And then?
The early visitors as to East Africa. Early visitors. So there were the missionaries, explorers, slave traders. The most famous slave trader is Tipu Tipu, pictured there.
As we see him there.
Yeah, Arab slave trader. He was black in color.
Yeah.
Just like the Africans. So he could easily trick Africans.
Is it true that slave trade started with the Arabs and not even... actually, even in Africa itself, there was still slavery, right?
Yeah, there was slavery.
Amongst the tribes and whatever.
Yeah. Within themselves.
Within themselves.
Yeah, so they could betray one another. They could do so. So like if you do something wrong, you are arrested by the chief, then you're being sold.
Wow.
The wrongdoers were perceived to be, were in danger of being captured. Like betrayal within each community. Yeah. Then the missionaries opened one of the first churches at the coast, St. Paul's, St. Austin's. Then that is Shimoni Caves. Yeah, in Kwale County. So that's where slaves were being held there.
And that is the church you're talking about?
Yeah, that's the church. Before they were being transported to the Zanzibar, where there was the big slave market. Yeah.
Wow. And I'm assuming that item there is for weighing what they're trading? For
trading items, yeah. Weighing balance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Then that family is called the Ishmael Semla family.
What's unique about them?
So this was the first family to be converted into Christianity. They were initially Muslims by the missionaries.
Wow. They were that proud that they had to take a picture and
imagine the first person to be converted from one religion to another.
Wow.
That family. Yeah.
Interesting. And this item is for coconut
grater. Yeah, for grating coconut.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Also in plates from Middle East. Then there the European control now. There was use of force shown by the guns to control.
Wow. Do you know the type of guns those are?
Guns are made of wood mixed with iron.
We have Captain Lugard there. There we have Colonel
Mentazine. The name is
Menatzagen.
Yeah, the name is long.
Menatzagen.
Yeah.
He was German or what?
A German living. He used to live in Nyeri.
In Nyeri?
Yeah. That was his residence.
Okay.
He was very cruel.
Then we have William Mackinnon.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is William Mackinnon, founder of the Imperial British East Africa Company. Wow. So what's Mackinnon's story?
Mackinnon was sent by the British government to come to administer Kenya here. When Kenya was declared a British colony. Yeah. So it was like the governor of Kenya by that time, the leader of that company, the Beko.
Wow. British East Africa Company. Unilever. Wow. Okay. So below him then you have all these guns.
Yeah, guns made from wood and metal. So the guns shows that they used force to colonize Kenya. Kenyans, yeah.
It reminds me of a book by Jared Diamond. You should actually read that book, Elias. It's called Guns, Jums, and Steel. The things that basically the Westerners came with to Africa and what they used to take over Africa. Guns, jums, and steel. You should look it up by Jared Diamond.
I'll definitely look.
Yeah, quite an interesting book. So it tells you a lot, especially even why our production was the way it was. Because remember, we were hunters and gatherers. So things like, we used to deal with things like tubers, and tubers take long to grow. While the other side, they were dealing with things like wheat. Right?
Exactly.
So but also wheat came with its health problems. But yeah, moving on. So yeah, the guns, right?
Yeah.
This is how they took over.
Use of force.
Yeah. So then there we have the diaries of Lord Lugard.
Yeah. About the activities used to do and encounter day by day during his rule.
So, and this was an agreement?
Yeah, Masai agreements.
These are the Masai agreements?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Where they were lured.
And this is displayed in the National Museum.
Yeah.
I would like to ask or really find out how the Ma, as they got to be called now, Masai, how do they feel about this being displayed there, though? Because this is you're displaying a people's heritage that was stolen, literally, and it's there paraded. Do you think you need to parade this, though?
It is a displeasure to the community.
Of course it is, but why would it be displayed, though?
It is displayed here
as a reminder.
Yeah, as a reminder of what used to happen
and what was lost.
What was lost,
present day they are reading this. These are their forefathers. These are their ancestors.
Yeah.
This is what was done to them. So imagine being able to walk into a room and see what happened to your community, to your whole lineage.
It's disheartening.
It is. It is. It really is. And I guess that's why we're doing this, because somebody needs to show the world what it is, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, let's proceed. Yeah. So the agreement, and I guess this goes with what we saw in terms of the fingerprints.
Yeah,
there we go.
One now.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, those are their signatures.
Signatures, yeah, thumbprints.
Yeah, each and every person who signed that agreement.
Yeah, unable to read and read
Imagine
write.
Not being able to read and write.
Yeah.
But signing something on behalf of even your future
They did this so
lineage.
that they may not go to serve as slaves, to escape slave trade. Imagine.
Yeah. So moving along from that.
Yeah. Those are the settlers who kept to do farming, mixed farming, bringing of of goats.
So those are some of their tools, right?
And the plow they used, plow.
That's the plow.
Yeah.
Those are some of the grains.
Yeah, that's now the Indian community. Mula Jivanji is there, in that picture, from Pakistan.
Oh.
He was a philanthropist.
Jivanji.
Yeah, an Indian. So he played a very crucial role in fighting for the freedom, for equal rights of humanity here. Yeah, donated the Jivanji Gardens for the public. Yeah, that's why we truly remember him. What he did for Kenya and the Indian community. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So, what do we have here next?
That is slave trade.
This is slave trade.
Yeah. So the people are being captured from the interior. Men, women, and even children. So the children were lured with the sweets full of their parents.
Sweets?
The sweets.
Elias, we're talking about 19 what? Sweets?
They were sweets. Not like the modern sweets. They were sweets by then. Yeah, so the children would be lured to follow their parents. The parents walked from Nairobi interior or coast. Yeah, so if we don't cooperate, we'll be brutalized, caning. At the time, some of them died due to the injuries they encountered during this punishment. Yeah.
What do we have here? What is this?
That is an amulet.
This is an amulet.
Yeah.
Used as a protection.
Yeah. So it has a whole lot
to ward off evil spirits.
Yeah. It has a whole lot of charms
by the Swahili.
Swahili people, yeah.
Wow. So they would tie this on their legs.
Some of them are necklaces. So it has hollows where charms are placed inside there.
But it's an amulet.
Amulet is an item for protection. Protection, that is. Yeah.
Okay.
Against evil spirits, ward them off, witchcraft. Yeah.
Damn. Okay. Then we have here
The ivory.
This is a huge horn, though.
Yeah.
This is a huge task.
Ivory.
Wow.
So
ivory trade. Oh, yeah. Still under trade.
Yeah. So they used to carry ivory. Then there were also items of trade, the human beings.
But they're in chains, so they are not the ones trading. They are carrying the ivory for
themselves plus the ivory. They're all important. So you are. Can you imagine?
Oh Lord! You said it's actually themselves and the
ivory
that are important.
They go together, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was very brutal. Very, very brutal.
Yeah, man.
You must cooperate in chains for a long period of time. So most of them died due to harsh conditions. Some of them got infections.
And those are the guns, man.
Yeah, guns. Used by the colonizers. Wow. They used force.
Those are like shotguns. Like, what are those? Shotguns?
Shotguns, guns made from wood.
Muskets.
Muskets, yeah.
Wow.
Those were very new weapons to Africans.
Imagine,
never seen
in your own home.
Guns before.
In your own home. This is happening. This is wild. It really is. Yeah, okay. So, but let's move on.
That was the work of the chiefs there.
These are now, this is the chiefs.
The role of the chiefs. They were tax collectors. And also, they also acted as spies. In that if they go and spy the village and find very relevant information, there was a promotion from a three-legged stool to now a four-legged chair.
I'm so sorry, but the chief's promotion, they were promoted from a three-legged stool to a four-legged chair
now.
Oh man.
Those who have given them relevant information, good spies.
The snitches.
Yeah.
Oh God, the snitches got a four-legged chair.
Yeah, there was the heart attack. So depending on the number of women you have, men used to be polygamous by then. The more women you have, the more tax you bring.
What?
To the table.
So this is them paying tax.
They're paying taxes
to the chiefs. These are the chiefs with their hats, and
those are the chiefs.
The pots they are carrying are basically what they're bringing.
Yeah, those are the tax. The harvests.
Oh man! So where did the harvest used to go?
Yeah,
are the chiefs keeping this, or are they going to the British? Or
yeah, they're taking them to the government. Then from there, they're exported.
What?
Yeah, to get money to run the government affairs.
Officials from the African District Council collecting taxes. Wow.
Heart tax, poll tax.
A cause of early African agitation against the colonial government. This is so interesting. So these are some of the reasons why things went south.
And if you fail to bring the taxes as required, you are being arrested.
And what's up with the camera? The camera.
Those are the first cameras to be brought by the British people in Kenya. Gramophone,
telephone.
That is an hand pump.
Hand pump.
For killing things.
And that is the kipande holder.
The kipande holder, yeah, the kipande.
So they didn't forget the kipande holder.
The kipande necklace.
Wow.
It was allowed to control labor and movement of people.
Wow.
Then there was this punishment for those who failed to pay taxes. They are being arrested, then taken to the plantations or the factories for the British people to go and work there freely until the taxes matches the amount you are supposed to pay as the tax.
I bet you if this device, what device is this?
That's a
pump. What device is this?
That a hand pump.
A hand pump.
Yeah.
Damn.
for killing pests like ticks.
I could have sworn that was a shisha bomb.
Yeah, it looks a bit strange.
Yeah. So
Those are the factories where the men were supposed to work. Those who failed to pay taxes.
Uplands Bacon Factory.
Factory.
Wow.
Yeah.
This was crazy. This is tea tasting.
Yeah, that's how crazy it was.
These guys had tea tasting back in the day.
Yeah, to look for the best
Tea.
one to export.
Wow. You're exporting something that ain't even yours.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So the picture there is Lenana, Lesenteo the brother, Wangoma Keri and Wanga. Yeah.
So these are the two brothers you were talking about.
Yeah.
This is the origin of the Tanzanian Maasai.
Maasai, yeah. So on this other side, that is Olesenteu, the eldest brother.
Olesenteo, that's on the left.
Yeah, older than Lenana. So Lenana was hungry for power.
This is Lenana.
Yeah, that's Lenana.
With the hat.
Yeah, with the hat. Yeah. So the elder brother decided to run away to Tanzania, fled away.
Olesenteo
decided to go away to, go to another place. Yeah.
Wow.
He resisted. Yeah.
So Lenana was a collaborator.
Olesenteu resisted the British.
Up there we have
Nabongo Mumia
Nabongo
of the Wanga collaborated.
Uh-huh.
On the other side is Wango Makeri, resisted the British government. Wango Makeri among the Gikuyu community. Yeah.
So her and Olesenteo resisted.
Yeah.
And you called him
Wango
Wanga.
Mumia of the Wanga.
Mumia.
And Lenana.
The
Masai.
Collaborated.
Yeah. Okay. That's what the betrayers of the African society. Like the ones awarded like the four-legged chair.
Are you? These guys betrayed Africans for 4 wooden sticks.
Yeah.
You can't make this up. You really can't make this up.
Then there's only one woman there who led the society, Wangoma Keri. Among the Gikuyu and among the Giriama there was the Mekatilili Wamenza. So Wangoma Keri,
she was something else.
Mekatilili. Wangoma Keri was like an iron lady, very oppressive to men. Yeah. So during our era as the chief, men underwent a lot of disrespect.
Is she the one who would step on your back?
Sit on your back.
Sit on your back.
Make you kneel, sit on your back until she will get tired. That's when she will walk out.
Wow, more guns we have there.
Yeah, more guns. So they used, yes, it's used.
Wow.
That is now the outbreak of the First World War, 1914 to 1918. Where about 195,000 Kenyans were recruited. About 50,000 of them died due to harsh conditions and difficulties that they underwent during that time. Then from 1919 there was the outbreak of influenza, which killed around 120,000 Gikuyu people in Mount Kenya.
They killed 120,000?
Yeah, people.
Gikuyu people?
People died due to influenza.
What?
In that place alone, Central region alone, Gikuyu people, 120,000 people died.
As I said, guns, germs, and steel.
Then 100 years later, we see the outbreak of coronavirus.
Yeah.
With almost similar symptoms.
Yeah, Elias, we can do that episode another time. Okay. I've seen where you're going with that. The outbreak of corona.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar, right?
Yeah, similar.
Wow. What do we have here?
Dr. Ivan.
Dr. Ivan.
People during the First World War.
He did what?
He was a doctor during the First World War.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Treating people at Kariandusi, mission hospitals. Yeah.
So guys were fighting in Kenya?
Like
Or
that
who
time
was
he
it treating? These guys were coming from where? Or they were being brought from where?
during that time he was a doctor. During that period.
Yeah, but who was he treating? He was treating
the Africans.
The Africans?
Yeah. Kenyans by that time.
So the Kenyans were being brought back, or was there fighting going on here?
People become sick whether they go to war, they remain in
Oh, he was a general doctor.
Doctor, yeah.
Okay, got it.
That specific period.
Got it. What do we have there?
There we have a coin. Yeah.
What coin?
Like money used during that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. That's what they were using as currency.
Currency, yeah.
Okay. And then here?
Then we have the OMS, on Her Majesty Service. That was the first government number plate vehicle.
This?
Yeah. H.H.M.S.
Yeah. Of her.
On Her Majesty.
On Her Majesty's
Service. Yeah. Yeah, and then Kenya was divided into provinces and districts.
That's the map.
That's the divide and rule.
It's a British tactic.
Yeah.
Pit people against each other.
Yeah.
And then come out the hero.
Boundaries is brought. Also supposed to move without the kipande. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. OMS,
yeah.
Hey. Of Her Majesty's Service.
Service, yeah. The chiefs there, photos of the chiefs who collaborated.
So these are the snitches.
And their masters.
These are the snitches of Kenya.
Yeah,
and their masters.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So you can
they should be put on a billboard somewhere so that guys can know.
Their hat there.
Those were their hats.
Of the chiefs. Then their stool is down there. The stool is there.
Oh.
That was there.
This is
before they were rewarded.
Oh, this was before their award.
Rewarded, yeah.
So this is what they were using.
That's what they were using.
So when you snitch nicely, you're given now a four-legged chair.
Yeah, because they are not that bright, so it could come with relevant information which is not helpful for the government. Whenever we come with the critical one, it was a promotion. But that's chair now.
That was the promotional chair.
That was the promotion, yeah.
Oh my God, you can't make this up. You really can't.
Yeah.
Let me upgrade you. That's what they were told, eh?
Yeah, upgraded. Not just a mere chief. Now a paramount chief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then we had the social segregation here in Kenya, where the upper class were the Europeans.
Hold on. There's an interesting story about this gramophone, right?
Yeah.
It was a gift.
This gramophone was an entertainment instrument used by the Europeans. Yeah. There's a different one for the Africans, gifted to them after the Second World War.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah. This one was for the first class people, the upper class. They used to play polo games.
There, yeah.
With a small family.
Yeah.
They were not polygamous. The housing were decent. Housing.
Hold on. You said one very important thing. They were not what? Polygamous.
Well, not polygamous.
So they indoctrinated the Africans to function like them.
Yeah, like them.
Proceed.
So they used to go to the European hospital. This hospital is now called the Nairobi hospital.
This is Aga Khan.
That's Aga Khan. That's now the Indians, the second middle class. Yeah. Used to go to Aga Khan hospital.
And that is Ngara.
Their housing in Ngara.
Wow.
Up to date.
Hey. Yeah.
Then that is the Nairobi hospital for the rich by then. Even today, it's for the rich, not for the common people.
The European Nairobi?
European hospital. It's now called the Nairobi hospital. Yeah, for the upper class, still up to date.
The European Hospital Nairobi.
Yeah.
Wow. It wasn't even Nairobi Hospital.
Yeah.
It was the European Nairobi Hospital.
Hospital, yeah.
Wow, this is crazy. European Nairobi Polo.
That's the polo game, yeah.
What?
Luxuriant life.
Life was
Then we
great.
We had the middle class, who were the Indians.
Mm.
Yeah. So they were polygamous. A bit larger family compared to the European ones. Yeah. Then they had the wooden chest. This one here to keep jewelry, coins, important documents.
So it's going from right to left.
Left, yeah. And their drums were there.
So
for
the rich, the elite are on the right, the
Yeah.
Europeans. Then
Yeah.
middle, now we are on the Indians.
Indians and the Asians, yeah.
The Asians, hence the Ngara complex.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The drums for entertainment there.
Drums right there.
Then the lower class Kenyans.
Well, can you imagine that? And you're in your own country. You've been put number three.
The lowest now.
There.
Black-skinned people.
Oh
So
my
they used to go
God.
to King George VI Hospital.
King George VI, which is what present day?
Now it's the Kenyatta National Hospital.
Kenyatta National Hospital.
Yeah, for
was
the
King
public still.
George.
For the public still.
King George VI
That was its original name. King George VI
Hospital.
Hospital, yeah.
Wow.
For the public Africans.
Wow.
They used to live in slums,
Wow.
in decent houses, crowded. Then they used to play the bow game, dancing. They were polygamous, very large family. Yeah, marrying over 10 wives, many children. Children was a symbol of wealth. Playing the drums and tampa piano.
This is crazy. You know, it's like taking it's like going back in time and actually experiencing what these people used to go through, or how their ways of life was. You understand?
Yeah.
And some parts are great, some parts are just ridiculous.
So the social class still exists up to date.
Yeah. So what do we have there? What's
There is now the education
Yeah.
and religion. So for the Europeans, they used to go to the European school. It's not called the now the Lenana school now. It was for the Europeans alone. Yeah.
Wow.
Then for the Africans, we used to learn outside under trees, learning basic skills, carpentry.
Wow.
They are not allowed to learn technical subjects like English. Just basic to kind of assist the European people to do work.
Wow.
Low-level jobs. Look at the guys learning outside under trees.
This is, you know, I'm laughing out of amazement because I'm just wondering, like, today, how would you convince an African to do this madness?
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
That is.
You know, you go sit outside and learn. You're like, are you high? But anyway.
Then for the Asians, there was also like the first class, second class, and the middle class. The Asians used to go to the Asian Girls Secondary School. It's not called the Pangani Girls.
Pangani girls. Oh, that was for Asians.
For the Asians.
Wow.
For the Asians specifically. For the African ladies, no, outside still. Then, due to that discrimination, there were some churches which are left for the interracial, like the All Saints Cathedral Church, for the all races. We go there. Then even schools, some schools were interracial, like the Strathmore University of nowadays. That was an interracial school. So the paramount chiefs' children, the chiefs themselves, Asians, Europeans could go and learn there. Yeah. So some of the Africans were angered by this discrimination, and they began to set up their own churches and schools, like the African independent churches here. Yeah. the Legio Maria, the Ocorino, and they incorporated the more of the African beliefs, the cultures.
So these basically branched off from Christianity, or what?
They incorporated.
These were they? Are these traditional? Like what are they? Like
it is a mixture.
Like the Ocorino.
It's a mixture of the traditional and the European way of worshiping together. Yeah.
Okay.
Then that was the uniform, KAR uniform, King's African Rifles. So just we wear that during the war. And there we have the gifts down there. Are there? That's the gramophone.
Tell me about the gift.
Before Africans went to the Second World War, they were promised by the British people that their land will be given back. Go to war, fight for us, the land will be back to you. But instead, that one was never honored. After the war, they were given gramophone, their statues, and medallions. They go back home with.
Oh man!
So these gifts angered
gramophone,
Africans.
statues, and medallions.
The medallions, yeah. So they were angered.
Those are the medallions we saw at the
Murumbi Gallery, yeah.
Oh man!
Yeah. So they got angry. So, like for example, the gramophone. No one had never seen the gramophone before in the village. So it was a unique instrument. So instead they would come with it at the homestead, so that the neighbors would get to hear the new sound, the new rhythm. So they would be astonished at this new rhythm in the village, and they would all come together to listen to how sweet this music is in this home. That was a person of very, very high stature in the society by then.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy. And and I'm assuming these are the figurines,
wooden statues,
the wooden statues,
yeah,
as gifts.
As gifts.
No compensation, no nothing.
No nothing.
Wow.
So they were angered, and they learned that even the Europeans could just die just like them. That's the first time they learned that those people have weaknesses. They
bleed.
They die also. So they began fighting more for their freedom. Yeah, that's when the first African was now appointed to the legislative council by then.
Wow.
The person was called Eludimatu. Yeah, fight for the African rights. 1944. Yeah.
And here we have a very interesting outfit.
Yeah.
What is this?
The outfit belongs to Dedan Kimathi, the leader of Mau Mau fighters. A group which terrorized the British government, attacking their homes and the administrative centers.
That was his gun?
That was his gun.
Wow.
Pistol. Yeah.
Revolver.
Yeah. Very powerful.
Wow.
By then. So the leader was captured in 1956 in Aberdares. He was shot on the leg. Yeah. Then taken to committee detention camp, now called the committee prisons, where he was hanged the following year, and the body has never been retrieved to date. That
really?
was his shot, yeah.
Wow.
And he's caught.
So, what is the explanation? What do you mean the body was never retrieved? Like, if he was hanged, it's not like he was eaten by something. He was hanged and something must have happened. So, or the British were like, we're going to go with this guy as a souvenir.
We don't know where the body was buried. So up to now, we still demand for his body to be given a decent burial. I think they fear that duties, activities, his braveness will really honor this guy. So the body is still not found. So it will be like.
So like what? If his body is found and exhumed, then it will create another whole problem.
Yeah, because they know him as a disaster. As a disaster himself.
Even in death, he will still. Wow.
Yeah, it's a disaster. Yeah.
Well, that it's interesting to see that they fear somebody that much to even not be brave enough to give the family the body, because they're scared the body, even in death, will do them harm.
Yeah.
But anyway, to each their own. So yeah, proceeding.
Those are the weapons, Mama weapons, daggers, kept there. So they used to keep long hair, locks, for identification amongst themselves. Yeah.
Oh, so the locks were to identify themselves.
Yeah.
That is so interesting.
So the knives, machetes, were attacking the British government. Yeah.
And these were their hats.
Yeah, made from the skin of animals.
Cowhide and all that.
Yeah. So like the Didn't used to wear the leopard skin. Yeah, to camouflage with the forest. Avoid being found. That's a suspect. Mama suspect being searched. Yeah, by the British people. The Mama leaders. Wango wa Makere.
He's a field marshal.
Field Marshal Mudhoni. Yeah. Is it Mariama?
Yes.
Yeah. All of them are the locks.
Yeah.
This is a healer. Medicine man to heal them when they got injured. Yeah. And there the detention camps in Kenya here.
Wow.
Manyani
These were all
detention camps.
camps.
Yeah, Kapenguria.
Sagana, Aguthi. Wow. And there were no detention camps up north?
There was the Kapenguria, the Kapenguria one in Turkana, where the likes of Jomo Kenyatta were detained.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that, can you see the concentration of the detention camps where they are?
Yeah.
Gatundu, Mweru, Sagana, Mwea, Yata, Kamiti, Embakasi, even Langata, Nairobi. But up this side,
that's where there
were no
resistance.
Western, there were no detention camps. Nyanza, there were no detention camps.
The reason why
Hola, that's towards the coast
there, yeah.
Mwea, Manda. So
so the northern region was sparsely populated. Very few people lived there. So there was there was not too much resistance compared to the central region of Kenya. That's why most of them, the detention camp were at in central Kenya region, some at the coast.
Those are the camps now.
Yeah, detention camps now.
Wow.
Heavily guarded.
Wow. This is crazy.
And I went very difficult circumstances while there. Treatment, harsh conditions. Yeah.
Yeah. Here we see
a bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the bullet was lodged from the chest of
Oroyo.
In Waruhi Itote.
Itote's bullet.
Yeah, in 1988. After staying in his chest for 34 years.
For 34 years?
Yeah. So he passed away after 2 years. After the bullet was lodged out.
And so he was shot. He died after 2 years.
After the bullet was lodged from his chest, he died after 2 years. That is 1990. Yeah.
And then the bullet now was removed when?
In 1988. After staying in his body for 34 years. Then 2 years later he died after the bullet was lodged.
So they exhumed his body and removed the bullet?
No, he was alive still. Living with the bullet for 34 years in your body.
Okay.
Yeah.
After he died after 32 years?
He died after 2 years after the bullet is lodged from his chest.
Dislodged?
Lodged. Get out of his body. Surgery conducted on his body.
Okay, I get it. So he was shot. And then 32 years later, when after he underwent surgery, After two years after the surgery, he died.
He died, yeah.
So he may have been better off with the bullet.
With the bullet, yeah. It was thought that the surgery which led to his death.
What? This is interesting. This is
a letter.
This is his letter to Dedan Kimathi.
Kimathi, yeah.
Man, this is something else.
That is his photo.
And this is not in history lessons and history books that kids need to be reading.
Very little is covered. Very many such things. That's the British people demonstrating. 1952.
Demonstrating for what?
Due to the Mama activities. They were very intense. That's due to the Mama insurgents.
What?
That's what they went on the
White
streets.
settlers demonstrating against the widespread Mau insurgency.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
So during shortly after this protests, that's when the state of emergency was declared here, and KA was banned. People like the Kapenguria 6 were arrested.
Kenyatta
Fred Kubai
is escorted to court.
Yeah,
during the Kapenguria trial.
Yeah.
Under tight security.
Yeah.
And by the way, did you know Kenyatta was an actor? Do you know that?
Was an actor?
Yes. Kenyatta did a couple of movies. What? Yeah, in the cast. You'll see Johnston come out.
Wow.
Yes, he was an actor before he became president.
I've never known that.
Imagine.
I will find out.
Yes, he was an actor.
I will surely find out.
Yeah.
King of Palava, I called you to Palava, but I didn't call your warriors.
Lord Sandy, a dog of a little chief, chopped the captain of my guard.
Your captain heard my orders, but he didn't obey them.
Lord Sandy, you promised we should keep our custom. It's an old custom in our lands to buy women.
Yes, if the woman and the father consent. But slavery I will not have, King Mafalaba.
My fathers ruled these lands for 300 years. I'm the greatest king in these countries.
My king is the greatest king on earth. And if little kings and chiefs disobey his orders, I plow them into the ground.
Yeah. So I don't know whether when he became president he was still acting or whether it was for real.
Yeah.
Because wow.
That was Then the reason why they were arrested, they were thought to be behind the Mau Mau rebels. Yeah.
Interesting. Hey, this is the history room.
Yeah, that's the history.
This is a lot of history.
Yeah, that is a mugumo tree, fig tree.
A depiction of.
Yeah.
Because I don't think
not the real tree.
Yeah, the real one is huge.
Yeah, there. So the tree used to have crevices and holes on its stem upwards. So that was very critical for the Mau Mau fighters for communication purposes. They used to hide letters.
So
the women.
So they used to put the letters in the mugumo trees.
Yeah, the women would know the plan. Women who used to work for the British people know their plans. Earlier, so they write letters down, papers, then they go and hide them there. So they alert their husbands, the Mau Mau fighters, that
this is so interesting in terms of the methods that people used, because then again, when for example the black Americans during slavery. They used to have what people call like lines. You know the lines on the hair?
Yeah.
The way they say cornrows.
Cornrows?
Yeah. So they used to be called cane rows because they used to work in the cane plantations, and they used to draw the maps of the plantation on their hairs. That's why they used to plait them like that, and they used to hide seed inside those braids as they are escaping, so that they could go multiply and grow food wherever they escape to.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how, the women used to, their role in how they played a role even in, liberating countries and people and, quite interesting. Yeah. It's very tactful.
Yeah.
So
that's the Arituku massacre. Yeah. In front of the Central Police Station. Mau Mau guns, weapons.
What?
handmade guns.
Can you imagine these guys were making guns, and I don't think anyone taught them.
The women.
The women.
Yeah, this was their work, their role, making guns, using wood, and the nails were the bullets here.
What?
Yeah. So the Mamau guns were those ones.
Wow.
Women's
This is
work.
crazy.
Yeah. So they could only work on a short range. So it has
So
to
they
be near for you to
really
shoot.
had to get close.
Really for you to shoot. Yeah.
That is the Home Guards badge.
Yeah.
And then what do we have here?
The Kapengura 6 arrest
Yeah.
and people undergoing search. I thought to be Mamau as a suspects. I thought Mamau leaders. Kadi Kubai.
Those are the chains,
The handcuffs.
the handcuffs.
Yeah.
Wow. That is crazy.
That's how it was.
And what are those?
Those are some of the letters written by the Mau people, like the leaders, their families, friends, and the
This
passports.
look like
passports
their IDs or something.
combined with the passports. Yeah.
Wow.
That's the independence now. That's the cockerel.
What does the cockerel have to do with independence?
That was the symbol of leadership of the first Kenyan president, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta.
A cock.
A cock. So the cock usually,
Why a cock?
because of the sounds are in the morning hours, like it shows that we should wake up, go to the garden, cultivate, because food is got from the plantations.
Well, that's the significance of the cock.
Wake up, go work. Yeah.
Okay. That is quite interesting. Okay, so what do we have here though?
Yeah, we have now the post-independence, the civil organizations after independence. Some of them were enacted by the constitution, like the Nyayo tea zones to support farmers, tea farmers.
I can see NSSF.
NSSF, yeah. So one was established to cater for the retired employees. Yeah.
Okay.
Then you have the maendeleo ya wanawake to cater for the women's needs, like to impart skills on them, empower women.
Kenya Airways, T-Zone.
T-zones there. Then NYS, National Youth Service, was set up, enacted in 1964.
Red Cross.
When out of Parliament. Red Cross for disaster management. Yeah. Maendeleo ya wanawake. Yeah, for women empowerment.
Oh, that's the maendeleo ya wanawake.
Yeah, then NYS to empower the youths, impart skills on them, to make them productive. Yeah.
And then
the uniform is here.
I can see we are approaching now. That is what the order, law and order.
Yeah.
This was the police uniform.
Yeah, the NYS uniform.
NYS.
Yeah.
Okay. And the hat?
That's still part of their uniform.
With the rungu.
Yeah.
Wildlife.
That is tourism in Kenya. That's one of the 7 wonders of the world.
Wildebeest migration.
Yeah. Migrating from Kenya to Tanzania, the back yearly. One of the tourist attractions here, one of the biggest. Then the Juakali sector,
which is huge. In
Yeah,
Kenya.
very big, yeah. Providing employment to many people. We need to venture into making wheelbarrows, kettles from aluminium, iron and other metals. Yeah.
Wow. So, Elias, it's been interesting. This has been the history room. You know,
Yes, this is has been.
and we haven't even gone halfway through the museum. You know, it's been a couple of hours. So, on our next episode, where do you think what room should we do next?
we should do
There's the evolution room. There's the mammals room. There's the currency room. There's the birds room. There's the Hall of Kenya room.
we should do the evolution room.
Evolution room.
Yeah.
There you have it, folks. So, next episode, we take a deep dive into evolution of man. There are a couple of interesting things that, we'll come across there. Some may be pleasant, some may be bittersweet. But I guess we'll wait and see. Thank you, Elias.
Thank you too.
Until next time.
We've traced echoes of the past, tasted the dust of time, and felt the pulse of ancient spirits. But the Hound's Odyssey is far from over. Subscribe and join us. There are more secrets waiting beneath the rich soils of our continent.